Kakadosh Boker Or. Masechet Batra Daf Vav Amud Aleph 106A1. We're going to be Magdish the Shiur also for the Refuah Shlema of Yitzchak Chaim Bar Shachnaz. Sheh Refuah Shlema Refuah Tadim Shel Guf. Says the Mishnah says as follows. A person comes and he tells his friend that I'm going to sell you a kura far ani muchelecha. And he tells him what type of a karka we're talking about. So he tells him simanav mitzarav, meaning he comes and he gives him the simanim. Where exactly is the field, right? What are the boundaries? He gives him everything. Pachot mishtut. So now what happens is, if right now, if it's going to be less than a sixth of the bet kur, higio, it's still going to be okay, right? Why? Because the fact that he came and he gave him, right? Here he says, if right now he said more or less. So we came and we said this entire concept. Here we're talking about it's al pi arba, right? Pi arba. He says over here, the reason why is because the fact that he says bet kur of afar ani mochelecha, it's kilu, he already told him it's more or less. Okay, so now when he actually added on by saying the simanim and the boundaries, right? With some that it could be less. So he says, right, when you're coming and you're going to say this. So he says higio. Yeah, so he says ad shtut, right? Yinakeh. So he says right now, what's the pshat now if it's going to be higio? Higio is that it's going to be shayach, right, to the purchaser, the way that it is. Ad shtut, right? But if it's going to be until shtut, yinakeh, you're going to come, right, and you're going to deduct the amount. Okay, he has to give him back the money. Okay? So one more time. He comes and he sells him the land. He tells him the simanim, which are the signs, like where between this street and this street, this, and he tells him the boundaries. But no, mitzarav is the boundary. Simanim and simanim. The simanim and the mitzarim. Right? The mitzarav is the boundary. Simanim are the simanim. If it's going to be less than a shtut, right? The difference of what the bet kur and what he said, it's going to be okay. 1/6. At 16.666666%. Yeah. Yeah. So he says, ad shtut yinakeh. Says the Gemara, itmar, it was stated. Ravuna comes and he says, shtut. When we talk about the shtut, kipachot mishtut. And Rav Yehuda Amar, shtut is kioter mishtut, which means like this. Until the 1/5, right? So then that's the 1/6, sorry. The 1/6, right? It's going to be the shtut that we talked about. What happens if it's exactly on the 1/6? Meaning I charged you 1/6 exactly. Is the 1/6 like considered below or is it considered above? That's the question. So Ravuna says shtut is like pachot mishtut. Hakikama, this is what we say. Pachot mishtut, ushtu bichlal. It's less than a shtut, and the shtut is considered part of it. Higio, yoter mishtut, if it's going to be more than a shtut, you're going to deduct it. Okay? So he says, Rav Yehuda says, shtut is kioter shtut. Shtut is like more than a shtut. Vehachi kamar. This is what it means to say. Pachot mishtut higio. If it's less than a shtut, it's going to be good. Meaning that it gets it's fine. Shtut ad shtut shtut bichlal yinakeh. But if it's going to be the shtut in itself, then you're going to start you're just going to start deducting from the money. Okay. Meitway. So we ask the following question: B'simanavu mitzarav. We're talking about if a person came and he gave with the simanim and with the mitzarim, with the boundaries. Pichet shtut or itin shtut, whether it's going to be less than a shtut or more than a shtut, harehu keshuma dayanin. It's going to be considered shuma dayanin. What is a shuma dayanin? Shuma dayanin is like a shuma. Shuma is an evaluation, okay? Which means that afterwards, right? He comes and he says, right? It's afterwards he comes and he says, right? It's going to be right that they made a mistake, right? So he comes and he says, so what happens, right? Igio. What does that mean? If it was less than a shtut or more than a shtut, right? At the end of the day, shuma dayanin, right? And let's say the dayanin, they made a mistake in the evaluation. They evaluated for whatever it was. There was a mistake. So he says, it's still going to be okay. Yeah? Veha shuma dayanin bishtut, kioter mishtutu. Says 1 second, but I thought that the shuma dayanin with the mistake was like a shtut, it's considered like more than a shtut. So since the Braita says that the din of the sadeh that is going to be sold is like shumata dayanin that was found a mistake, so it comes out that it's like a Rabbi Yehuda, right? That basically, if it's going to be like a shtut, it's like more than a shtut. That means even the shtut in itself is a problem. Okay? So Ravuna is going to answer you. Ultamech, and according to Rav Yehuda, meaning according to your reasoning, Higio kaktani. It's written Higio. Ela, but rather Shuma Dayanim velo ke Shuma Dayanim. It's like the Dayanim. It's like Shuma Dayanim, and it's not like Shuma Dayanim. What does that mean? He says ke Shuma Dayanim l'shtut. It's like the Shuma Dayanim to do with the shtut, that it's going to be to do with the mistake, but it's not like going to be like a Shuma Dayanim. Is over there batela mekach. Over there, when it was going to be the shtut, it was completely annulled if they made the mistake. But here it's not. It's going to be higio, meaning that it's like Shuma Dayanim, but it's not like it. Meaning over there, we said it's going to be completely batel, but they made a mistake in the valuation. Here, it's not going to be it's not going to be considered batel. Rav Papa Zavinara Ma'u Gavra. So the Papa came and he acquired a piece of land from a person, right? Kuvava Mubet, right? Amale, and he comes and he says like this: Havia esrim griz give mashche, right? I'm going to sell you this field, right? Which is going to be 20 yechidot midata, which is basically going to be 20 seah. Velo havai el chamesa. Now it was only 15. So he told him it's going to be 20, and it was only 15. They came in front of Abaye. Amalei, so he comes and he says, Savart v'kibalt. Right? You knew that there was only 15. So, and you still bought it. So the fact that you bought it, you accepted it. V'atanan asa gemara, but I don't understand you. Pachot v'shtut higio. That's shtut yinakeh. I thought we said that if it's going to be more than a 6, here it's more than a 6. Think about it. If it's going to be 15 out of 20, yeah, that's 25%. What's going on? For sure, it's going to be. You should deduct it. So that's only if he didn't know about it. But if you knew about it, you accepted it. Meaning, if you know already that it's impossible that it's going to get this amount, so you accepted it. That's it. There's nothing what to talk about, right? So he says, "V'ha esrina marli." Says, yeah, but he told me 20. Let's say I even knew about it, but you told me 20. So he says, Elmaleh, the adifa kesrin. This field is good for me like 20. And it's not that Be'emet it's 20. It's good for me like 20 seah. And therefore, but really Be'emet, you knew about it. You knew that it didn't have 20. You accepted it. Tanya, we learned in the Braita, Rabbi Oziel says, when brothers come and they divide it properly, right? That means basically they had a Yerusha or whatever, they come and they divide the property. Once they do the goral, and it comes to one of them, everybody else also acquires it. Meaning, let's say there's like different properties. Property A, B, C, D. There's 4 brothers. So brother A, B, C. He comes, okay, picks up, what did he get? B. The second that the goral came up for one of them, and he got 1, the others already acquired their properties as well. So he says, the other brothers, they also acquired their properties. Kanu kulam et Yerusha. Okay? Oh, now they're going to see. Yeah? Then they continue, right? So he says, right? So he says the other ones are already going to get the rest of the Yerusha. My time, and what's the reasoning? Like the beginning of Eretz Yisrael. Just like the beginning of Eretz Yisrael was done begoral, I've come begoral. So 2 years it's going to be begoral. Meaning, how was Eretz Yisrael divided? With a lotto. Yeah? So too is going to be with a lotto. Yeah? That's the way they do it. So he says, Elmaleh halam bekalpi urim vetumim. Right? So he says, Afkan bekalpi urim vetumim. Says, one second. You're right. Kalpi is the lottery, right? That they're doing the lottery. So he comes and he says, over there, they do the kalpi, right? But they also have the urim vetumim. So you're going to tell me then that every single time you need also the same thing? He said he didn't say anything about the urim vetumim. He only just said it's a lotto. Do you know in many synagogues until today, they do al-pi goral? Al-pi goral. What does that mean? Right? What they do is they come, and let's say the filah starts at 8:30. Let's say at 9 o'clock, they look around. Everybody that's there, they come, they take their name. There's like a box that has their name. So they come, they take their name. If you come after 9 o'clock, you don't get into the goral. Right? Meaning that, they give you a certain amount of time limit. If you come late, you don't go into the goral. What happens is they come and they put it inside of a bag. And all of a sudden, okay, fine. First name. No. Next. Sever Rishon. Or Sever Shani, whatever it is. Next. Mitzat Agilila. Next. Everything is done al pi hagoral. Everything goral. Something incredible. But again, you have to be on time. It's not just a stam they come. No, so a chiyuv, they'll give him a chiyuv. You understand? They'll give him al yad shvi'i, whatever it is. But if there's no chiyuv, right? Everything's al pi agura. Everything will be agura. You've never seen that? It's a beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. I've seen it. I've seen it. Yeah. Yeah. Huh? אני כמעט גמרתי את הדף הראשון כבר. כמעט גמרתי את זה. אני יודע איפה אני יודע בדיוק מה קורה. Yeah, fine. So that's the concept, right? There's the kalpi, and then there's the urim v'tumim. He says, one second, we have kalpi, we don't have a urim v'tumim. So what? If you're saying like Eretz Yisrael, what's going on? So Ravashi says, in the hana'ah, that each one of them are going to listen to the other because of the kalpi, gamru makne la'adadi. They already make a kinyan for each other, and therefore each one acquires their portion. Okay? Nekuda. 2 dots. And Kuvav Mubet. Itmar, it was stated, Shnei Achim shechalku. When you have 2 brothers that they divide. Ubalayan ach min dinat hayam. All of a sudden, comes a lost brother from dinat hayam. Yeah, it happens. All of a sudden, lost brother. Yeah? So what happened? Davamar, batla machloket. The chaluka is batel. Ushmuel amar, and Shmuel says, mekamtzin. They take from the 2 brothers a third, right? And therefore, right, each one has to give in order that the third brother will take a third as well. Okay, so each one is only going to get a third. So, Amaleh Rav Nachman, says Rav to Rav Nachman, Lerav, right, according to Rav, the Amar Batla Machloket, Alma Hadadina, it says, it comes out that you retract the din, right? Ela Me'ata, so according to this, Hani Betzlata, if there's going to be 3 shutafim, the Kami Vazu Betre Minayu Palu, the 2 of them, one that they divided, Hachanan, you're going to tell me now that it was Batel the Chaluka? He says, why? For sure not. Right? At the end of the day, you still have the other 2. If 2 of them dissolved the partnership, right? Fine, but there's still the third partner. It's not going to be completely Batel. So says the Gemara, Hachi Asha, can you compare both cases? Hatam over there, Nachite Adaita Debet Lata Mikara. They already knew they were doing everything according to 3 partners. And therefore, even the Chatchila, that's the way they did it. So therefore, he admits that it's still going to be Kayam. Hacha, in our case, nobody knew there was 3. They only thought there were 2 brothers. So when they divide everything, it only went according to 2 brothers. So that's why the entire thing is annulled. So Elmaleh of Papa Abai says Papa to Abai, Lishmuel, according to Shmuel, the man mekamtzin, so you just take a third. The Mimra, the Kamdina, you're going to say you just leave the halacha like that? Rav and Shmuel both said, if he comes and he tells him, I'm going to sell you a kur for 30 seah, can you actually retract on the seah acharona? Right? So he says, right? But if he told him, kur 30 seah besela, rishon kana. So it comes out that you see from here in the first psak of Shemuel, right? As long as he did not take the last one, he could retract. So it comes out. So why does Shmuel say now that the third brother cannot come and make them retract? He should make them retract on the entire thing. So answers the Gemara, Kuf Zayin Amud Aleph on the top. He says the Chachamim, to do with them buying and selling, the Chachamim wanted to do something which is going to be good for the Mocher and good for the Lokeach. Because both of them want the concept that they should be able to retract. So, but in the case of the brothers that they went and they have the inheritance, right? Nobody wants, each one just wants to be, but they want to get rid of the partnership. Remember, usually right after a person that passes away, the children, they don't want to stay in partners. And if they do, it becomes big problems. So what do? Right away, they divide. Right away. They don't want to be in partnerships. They want to divide it very, very, very quickly. Right? They don't want to be in a situation where now it becomes family politics, and then it becomes this, and now there was no parents involved, so now, that's it, and then the family feuds like crazy. So for what? They come and they want to do that right away.